Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's just a real joy, a real joy to be a part of this retreat and this company. My name is Saeed Jones. My pronouns are he, him. I am in Fire Island. I'm sitting in a dining room. There's some bad art behind me. That's if you can't see it, honestly, it's not worth your attention or concern. Um, I am teaching a nonfiction workshop, but so much of what I think about is how we can queer everything we touch. So I'm going to read a poem that is nonfiction, and then I'm going to read a brief essay that is about the future, because so much of what I think about is like how can we, change the idea of what we conceive as nonfiction. This poem is titled Heritage. It's based on an experience I had in October of 2019 in Oxford, Mississippi, which is where the University of Mississippi is located. And there's a lot of Confederate iconography in that place. Okay, Heritage. The color of a memory is the difference between haunted and hunted. In Mississippi, red, white, and blue don't mean, remember, this is America. They mean, history is a gun, and every bullet in its chamber wants you to forget. They mean, we tried our best not to be America and failed. And now we keep forgetting to forget. And anyway, who did you vote for? No need to ask us. You already know. They mean, the white man in the White House tweeted this morning that he's being lynched. Outside my hotel, no, I'm not from around here. On the street corner, there is a plaque that tells me where I can find the body of the town's first white settler. But it's almost sundown. And I've been told darkness in Mississippi is not a metaphor, so I chase the shadows back into the hotel. At the bar, I beg the bartender to make me a stronger drink. He tries, and he fails. I'm scared and black and mostly sober at the hotel bar and reading an essay about lynching when some old Miss frat boys explode into the room, cheering in a dead language, and my heart doesn't even wait for me to get the check. My heart is already gone. My heart is cowering in the hallway in front of my hotel room because I have the key and I just now got the check. And I keep forgetting to forget that the America I was born in will not be the America in which I die. The second and last piece I'm going to read tonight is an essay I wrote for New York Magazine's The Cut. They asked me to envision the future. And I think, all of us now, we exist, we're living in this like really liminal space, right? I mean, I think last winter was very difficult and maybe this winter will be difficult too, but I hope many of us are vaccinated. It's just very confusing. It's like, how do we live? And so I wanted to write a piece, where we're trying to make sense of all of this. The title is, I Will Meet You Anywhere. I don't know exactly how to get us there, but there is a future where my head has found its way to your shoulder. It could be a June in New York and we're sitting on your stoop, watching my dog perk its ears in nervous suspicion at every person who walks by. Or maybe it's in October in November in Ohio, and we're back on my rooftop, tipsy and taking in the relative quiet after I've dragged you to your first and last tailgating party. It could be July in some seaside city whose name I've mispronounced when I first suggested we take a trip there and whose name I've mispronounced every time since because I like the way you laugh and try to fail that laughter in your throat when I do. We could be anywhere. We are electric with knowing we could be anywhere. I'm sitting close enough to smell the cigarette smoke that halos you. Small bits of ash dust the front of your boots. You didn't smoke before. Just like I hadn't rested my head on your shoulder before, but you do now. and I do now. A car drives by with a song we both love leaking from its open windows. Electricity again. We could go to a club tonight, drink until we hear that song and embarrass ourselves on the dance floor. We could invite some people over for a house party and play that song on repeat as many times as we want. We could, we can. We could, we can. We could, we can. Sometimes I don't know what to do with all the things we can suddenly do again. I ask to borrow a cigarette and look right past your raised eyebrow until you hand one to me, then the lighter. What's a little ruined air between friends, I think, but don't say. A nudge is enough. It's nice to have our silence back. We have had to say so much. For a forever long month of March, every single thing had to be spoken in order to be known, but the other languages, our ours again. The eloquence of a softly punched shoulder, sips taken from each other's drink to decide what to order next, awkwardly bowed heads in place of familiar names that suddenly, weirdly, permanently, are spoken in the past tense. We burn through our cigarettes, briefly trying to forget some of what we now know. The stoplight down the block turns green. Time is returning to itself. It's beginning to mean something again. I ask if you want to go to that bar, the one with that really hot bartender. It closed. You suggest dinner at that restaurant I wouldn't shut up about. It closed. Fuck. The silence that's been sitting with us like a third friend only draws attention to itself as it gets up to leave. We watch it walk down the sidewalk, then disappear around the corner. The silence could be going anywhere. And we decide to do the same, thinking without having to say. Let's just see what we find. Thank you so much.